A lot of the time, we can see what is going to happen in a country simply by looking at other countries and then watch the country that we're looking at do
Mm.
exactly the same thing.
Yes.
Hopefully, they're looking for a different result. Now that's like the sign of a madman, isn't it?
Mm.
Right?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
repeat the same thing, expecting a different result.
Yes.
So, so when it comes to allowing and supporting fighting age men into the country, we know it is not exclusive to the UK.
Mm.
We can see that Germany, for example, is beginning to crumble under the weight that Angela Merkel left behind when she left an open invitation for Auslandering,
Mm.
and so that they can go and visit Germany and live. So popular was the idea that the visitors also went to Sweden to live. In fact, they went to live in most of Scandinavia.
Yeah.
You can find them. These Scandinavian countries were so placid, they let hordes of people to arrive knocking on their door. And what did they do? They let them in. They must have been fed up of seeing 6 foot, blue-eyed, blonde men, and were looking for something exotic for themselves. A little bit more compact, and should we say a darker shade of pale. Since then, back in the early 2000s, where has it gotten them? Well, it started in Sweden with rape gangs and no-go areas for the police in and around Stockholm. Ask a Swedish girl if she feels safe on the street. Some of them just say it's a calculated risk. These days, it's a
Yeah.
calculated risk, and they're almost expecting it to happen to them.
Yeah.
Then came along the drug gangs and the street battles for turf. The biggest of these gangs is called Foxtrot, and basically they rule the roost in Sweden. So much for asylum, right? Foxtrot, not being satisfied with Sweden, has crossed the frontier into Norway and muscle in on the action there. So much so that they're hiring 15-year-old boys to lob hand grenades onto their adversaries, be it other gangs or the police. They
Yeah.
know that a 15-year-old in Norway can never be prosecuted, not even for murder, it turns
Mm.
out. Yeah. So 15-year-old it seems to be. Give him a few krona and a grenade, and the youngster will feel like he belongs to a crowd and a few bob in the pocket too. All he has to do is just lob it. Right? I think it's fair to say that Sweden has lost the plot
Mm.
because it's been overrun. It's been totally overrun. And Norway is not that far behind, with a sushi restaurant and beauty salon being attacked recently in Oslo, Norway's capital.
Mm.
Oslo used to be a city where James Bond used to be
Yeah.
associated with, and
Yes.
now it's a street gangs.
Mm.
It is said that Norway now has 70 of such gangs floating around the place, and every town is prone to a grenade attack, according to the police. Every town in Norway.
Mm.
You could ask, but what has that got to do with the UK? Let's get our crystal ball out, shall we? Nah, we don't need one to see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
We know that when the hotels and cushy lifestyle of migrants come to an end, we know what they're going to end up doing to earn their cash.
Mm.
They will have nothing to lose. They will communicate in a foreign language and will be allowed to travel freely in the UK. We've already seen the attacks on young girls. That's already started. And that's how it all started in Germany and Sweden. Started with the attacks on young girls.
Assault. Yeah.
Then it becomes like Oslo with its fjords. And finally, it will look something like Stockholm in Sweden, beaten into submission. Now, Foxtrot is run by a guy called Rava Kurdish Fox Majid, and he gives his instructions from Iran, where he lives in Iran. So there you have it. In Scandinavia, it's being overrun by gangs. We don't know where they are from, and and once the UK stops feeding these people and housing these people and give them cash to put in their pockets and give them
Yeah.
new iPhones and giving them driving lessons and bouncy castles and whatever it is that they give them, they're going to start. There's so many of them here.
Mm.
They're gonna run amok.
Right.
Off you go.
Whoa. Yes. And everything you said. Well, if you say that to certain people in high political positions and others in the UK, they'll tell you you're being sensationalist and you're being an ism and all sorts of things. And it's just,
That's what they thought in Oslo.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, and okay, they'll say, oh, well, it's only a perception these women have. Well, it doesn't matter if it's a perception or not. Nobody's doing anything to calm this perception. So the politicians are failing the people who, well, in the UK, nobody actually hardly anyone actually elected the ruling administration. Let's be honest about it. Yeah, okay, we've done this before, but it is a worrying trend. When you lose it, it's difficult to get back to where it is. I've always been liberal. Okay, I'm gonna come for it for a different angle. I've always been liberal. You can do what you want, have whatever religion you want, and everything else, and let other people have their religion. You do what is culturally appropriate for the country you live in. Although I can't see attacking young women is culturally appropriate anywhere, but let's just say, or maybe it's because these certain individuals,
Afghanistan.
yeah.
Afghanistan doing that.
Well, I'm not going to draw. I mean, it is possible that these people are bad people in their own country as well, and duly regarded as much by a very decent administration and population. I mean, the UAE ministers some years ago were saying, "You're allowing these bad people in. What do you think is going to happen?" This was in 2017, and yeah, they must just be looking now. Well, you didn't heed the warning, unless you're prepared to take some direct action.
Not wanting to be controversial, but Tommy Robinson has been shouting off the rooftops
Mm.
for a lot sooner than 2017,
Yeah, well,
and he was just banished.
yeah, he was being hit on all sides. Okay, his previous affiliations may not be what we would consider, what necessarily how we would consider things, but yeah, but
Didn't
he
make him wrong though.
no, that's it. Yeah, disregard to the messenger. The message is there. Sometimes you have to apply a bit of critical thinking. Yeah, I mean, obviously the gentleman today, Tommy Robinson, he has been cleared of terrorist charges, entering back into the country, which seemed a bit weird to me personally when I looked at it. And okay, the law has got to be something we can all understand, really, primarily, and I couldn't understand why he was detained.
He
Everything he
wouldn't
said has been out in the open. You can't say anything secret about him.
give him the password of his telephone.
I couldn't even remember mine. I had to remember mine the other day. I forgot it. I couldn't even remember it. Um, I had to ask a younger person in my family, how do I get into this phone now? I'm stuck. Yeah. Yeah, I can figure things out eventually, but yes. Um, yeah, it is um, it's a worrying trend. And it's been coming over the past 20 years. And okay, it's all right to be nice and decent and liberal and hey, everybody's nice and we've got to be understanding one big happy world.
But by
Um, yeah, well, yeah, we know that doesn't exist. Um, when there are, I saw, okay, the internet is full of different footages, and yeah, you've got to use again critical thinking, what's real, what isn't real, especially now with different things. But when certified people in the streets of Sweden who are seeking asylum there are saying that Swedish society is not compatible with their religion and should be changed, well, I would argue that maybe you're not compatible with Swedish society, and maybe the change should be elsewhere. Um, and okay, I'm not saying that's representative of everyone of a certain religion, but you have to accept that where you are is going to be a bit different. I mean, okay, we have to accept that where we are is a bit different sometimes. You've been here a long time. You've actually all your most a good deal of your adult life. Yeah, me not so much so, but yeah, we go around. We enjoy the cultural aspects of it. We try and be part of it, and also when if asked to actually submit some of our own cultural ideas and things to it. Yeah, but that's by invitation. We don't demand it.
Yeah.
And that is a difference. Yeah. Um, I'm not going to force my views on anyone. And just as I don't want people to force their views on me, I'll listen to you for 2 minutes, 10 minutes. If I get bored with you, I'll tell you, sorry, not for me. Goodbye. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm I'm of the opinion that it's all I don't know if this has even all been done deliberately. People say deliberately. I think it's been done by incompetent politicians who tried to do possibly the right thing, or some people have.
Right. Over the last 20 years,
Mm,
20 years ago,
mm,
foreign people living in Sweden
mm.
was 14%.
Yeah.
14%. Last year, it's 20%.
Mm,
That's a lot of non-Swedish people
yes.
living in Sweden.
Mm,
And it seems like Norway is trying to play catch up, and I don't know if they're in the Schengen zone,
mm,
so you got the freedom of movement between
mm.
between the two countries. I don't
Yeah.
know how that works. But I mean, if it's freedom of movement, then it's just like I said in my little blurb.
Happy days. Yeah.
They're spilling over into Norway now.
Well, last time I visited Switzerland, you could walk straight over into Germany. Yeah. I mean,
That's
they
right.
had the facilities there if they wanted to put a passport control in, but on a station, this was just walk straight through. Hey, happy days. Um, Now, if I can manage that, anyone can. Oh, mind you, now, if a British person is going to Europe, they have to do the fingerprint. Uh, they have
Yeah.
to leave their fingerprints and everything else, which is rather interesting. Um, I wonder if these gentlemen will have to as well. And I'm going to say gentlemen because there's very few ladies who are coming over or across it would appear. Um, I mean, there's two sides. Yeah, I don't disagree that immigration and migration can be, in the term they use, culturally enriching. Yeah, different ideas, even mix up the gene
But
pool a bit. But yeah,
certainly that.
yeah. Um, but I don't see assaulting young ladies is culturally enriching. I mean, the fact is, we got these countries have enough prison, enough of their own offenders in prisons.
Well, let's not stop at assaulting young ladies. Like I said,
Mm,
Sweden,
mm,
Stockholm has got no-go areas,
yeah,
just like Paris does.
yeah.
It's got no-go areas for the police,
Mm,
and the bombs being set off in Stockholm
yeah.
quite frequently,
Mm,
and now in Oslo,
mm,
it's the same thing.
mm,
That's why they're contracting little boys at 15 years old to throw the hand grenades.
mm,
If you don't get into the protection racket,
Mm,
then you receive a hand grenade through the letterbox or through your window.
mm. That
You
sounds,
know, and it was a
sounds,
cheap place and a salon. You
yeah,
know,
sounds a bit like something similar I was hearing about last week. But yeah, um, yeah, it is a yes, okay, it's escalation. Uh, as I often say to people, I tell the younger people, people are motivated by two things: power and money.
yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. It's got nothing to do with these people want to be culturally rich, and it's got nothing to do with religion,
No,
really. It's about power, control, which is power, and wealth, making money.
which is
Um,
what draws the 15-year-olds in, because
exactly.
they know they're not going to be
Mm,
taken to court because you
mm.
can't. They're 15 years old, and like I said, they belong to a gang, belong
Mm.
to a group, and they got some brass in the pocket.
I'm gonna ask a question. Okay, if a policeman sees one of these 15-year-olds about to throw a projectile and permanently prevents them from doing so, I wonder what would happen then.
Well, if the pin hasn't been drawn,
Yeah,
then the policeman would take it off him, and nothing
yeah,
else he can do.
yeah,
If the pin's pulled,
yeah,
I imagine the policeman will be doing his level best to get out of the way.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, yes, that's it. And all this thing about yeah, you can put the pin back in. No, you can't. You're committed at that point. Yeah, you can't do that either with your teeth. Apparently, you know, it's a little bit stronger than that. But it's a yeah, they are. Yeah, it's a worrying trend. It's a war zone. These people have made it into war, and don't forget, yeah, they will quite happily form into rival gangs, like you're saying, with themselves as well. Um, God help any innocent locals, indigenous population who happen to be there as well. If they're already, if, yeah, I mean, people got to live somewhere. Um, unless you're prepared to do a massive pacification operation with these people, that's not going to happen. We know it's not.
So
Yeah,
you just need to look at where they're from.
yeah,
I mean, like I said, Foxtrot gang leader.
mm,
Uh, his name suggests Kurdish fox.
yeah,
Name suggests that he's Turkish, but
yeah,
he's given his orders from Iran,
mm,
and neither Turkey nor Iran are des res.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. I mean, parts of Turkey are quite nice, but yes, I know what you're saying. Yes, yeah, um, yeah. It it's not gonna end well. Like you said, we can see the crystal ball. What's coming for the UK if the current trend is happening? Um, I do believe even if there's a change of administration in the UK,
the shit's already hit the fan
mm,
because the people are already here.
mm,
Like I said, what's going to trigger this is the fact that the government today
mm,
are giving them so much.
yeah,
Eventually, the government's going to have to stop, no matter who it is.
yeah.
And you've got all these people in the country,
Mm.
all of a sudden they're going to be destitute, and that's when it's going to happen.
I mean, unless you can manage to round up a lot of them and put them in a C-130 and fly them somewhere else, quite where I don't know where. Yeah, it's going to be a problem. Um, we're probably in the UK at the level where it could be contained now, possibly, if you did a massive operation. Let's be optimistic and say it's possibly still at the level. We know, you know where these people are. We got to be able to screen the problem ones away from.
Well, Mark,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't know who they are,
yeah.
so they're not going to say I'm a problem person.
No, I know. I'm
You
trying to
wait,
think objectively here. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so you wait for them to commit a crime,
Mm,
and then you deport them. That's what they're doing in the US.
yeah.
If they commit a crime, they get deported, right?
Yes, yeah.
In the UK, it's not so easy to
Well,
deport somebody. So much so
ECHR. Yeah,
the blokes come back 3 times or something like that,
yeah.
just to just so that he can say hi.